In Canada's Northwest Territories lies the Nahanni Valley. From above, it looks like an untouched wilderness paradise, carved out by ancient rivers and surrounded by miles of dense forest. Frank and Willie McLeod pushed into this isolated terrain in the early 1900s, driven by the era's frantic search for gold. Months turned into years without a single word from the brothers. The absolute silence eventually prompted a search party to venture into the valley to find them. When the expedition finally located the brothers' abandoned campsite, they discovered both of their skeletons lying in the dirt. But both skeletons were missing their heads. And though the search party scoured the surrounding brush, the skulls were never found. People die in the harsh wilderness from exposure or animal attacks, but nature does not typically decapitate its victims and hide the evidence. This map tracks the dates and locations of deaths in the Nahanni Valley, starting with the McLeod brothers. Years later, a trapper was found dead beside his campfire, sitting upright but missing his head. Soon after, another explorer vanished, leaving behind a headless skeleton. Logic suggests a human culprit, and the initial theory was that violent outlaws or rival prospectors were murdering travelers to steal their gold. But the physical evidence didn't match. Searchers found no footprints leading away from the camps, no signs of a struggle, and the victims' valuable equipment remained untouched. Human killers usually leave tracks or take valuables. The complete absence of a clear motive or physical trail leaves the case without a primary suspect. Some investigators look to the environment. Nahanni is filled with sheer drops and massive water systems packed with violent kinetic energy. Add in freezing winter temperatures and extreme isolation, and the terrain can easily claim the life of an experienced outdoorsman. However, a fatal plunge into rapids or a death from hypothermia does not explain how these bodies were found decapitated or carefully propped against trees. The lack of forensic answers has drawn attention to the warnings from indigenous communities, knowledge of the region that predated the gold rush by generations. These stories spoke of giant creatures stalking the mountain ridges, strange lights floating through the trees at night, and disembodied voices that mimic human calls. With forensic science unable to provide a cause for the decapitations, many are left to weigh the physical evidence against the region's unsettling folklore. Today, thousands of tourists safely visit the outer boundaries of Nahanni National Park every year to hike the open tundra. While satellites have mapped the layout, the terrain remains so vertical and the weather so volatile that the deep interior is rarely accessed on foot. Many locals still avoid those interior sectors. Visitors who venture inward often report a feeling of being watched or hear unexplained sounds echoing through the narrow canyons. We have mapped most of the globe, but there are still pockets of wilderness that remain fundamentally hostile. In the Nahanni Valley, those who go looking for fortune may still find something far more dangerous.